Hi, this is Fazana again. In part 3 of this video topic, we will work through higher level questions. Once you've watched parts 1 and 2, the climb to higher is not so steep, trust me. Let's recap again. Okay, with Pythagoras, if you've been taught to find c squared equals a squared plus b squared, and then once you've found the total and then square root it, try to do it all in one step. So if you're trying to find the longer side, so you're going c equals, and then you go the square root of a squared plus b squared. As long as you remember to put your brackets, it's going to square root the total of it. Yeah? You're trying to find the shorter side, so you've got a squared equals, this time, of course, you're taking the square root of the longer side squared minus one of the shorter side squared, and out comes your answer. Okay, so just keep it really simple. Okay, let's have a look at the questions. The diagram shows a circle with center O and radius 2.5 centimeters. So that's 2.5. TA is a tangent to the circle of length 6 centimeters. So you know radius meets tangent at 90 degrees, and that's 6 centimeters. The line from A to the center O of the circle cuts the circumference at B. So if it cuts the circumference at B, then you know that bit is also the radius. So that's 2.5 centimeters as well. And you have to calculate the length of AB. So we want to find this side here. Okay. Again, you can see your right angle triangle. So you think, Pythagoras. It's the side opposite your right angle. So I'm looking for my hypotenuse. So we're going to go that squared plus that squared and square root it. But again, just prepare it, because you only have to find the length of AB rather than them asking you to find the length of that whole side. Prepare again. So once you've got the hypotenuse, we're actually going to minus the 2.5, and that will be our answer. Okay, so now let's go try find the hypotenuse. So H, which is OA, equals the square root of 2.5 squared plus 6 squared. Okay, once you put that on your calculator, you get 6.5 centimeters. Okay, so you've got your 6.5 centimeters. It goes there, so you've got 6.5 minus 2.5 is 4 centimeters. Okay, sorry, I just noticed one point. Remember I told you there's a Pythagorean triple 5, 12, 13. Always remember these because they're just so useful when you're doing non-calculator questions. So 5 squared is 25, 12 squared is 144, and those two actually add up to 169. Okay, so that's a Pythagorean triple. What I just noticed is it's just half of that. So you've got 2.5, that would be 6, and half of that is 6.5. Yeah, and that sort of worked out, didn't it? Yeah, always be extra observant. Exams isn't about being clever, it's also about being sharp. So you've just got to notice things rather than get so sort of into the question that you can't actually see the whole picture, or you can't, something doesn't like jump out at you if you've made an obvious mistake. Yeah, so always be one step ahead. Okay, this question, the point A is shown in the unit grid below. The point B is 2 surd 5 units from A and lies on the intersection of 2 grid lines. Mark one possible position for B. I hope you like surds. It doesn't quite overwhelm you. Watch my video on surds and I'm sure you'll grow to love surds. Okay, so you can tell that you've got point A there. I just want to sort of sketch it. and we've got point B there, and that length is 2/3 5. Okay, I'm already thinking anything to do with a straight line. I always think of my triangle, and I've got my right angle triangle. Yeah, and you can tell that's your hypotenuse. So the first thing I think of is, if I square that, I'm going to get the sum of the squares of those two sides. So if I square 2/3 5, and remember it's squaring the whole thing, so then you've got 2 squared is 4, and 3/5 times 3/5 is 5. You should be aware that if you multiply a square root by itself, it becomes the number itself. So that would be 20. Okay, now we're going to keep this really simple. Can you think of 2 square numbers that add up to 20? Okay, I'm sure you got that before I got it, while I was busy writing. And you can see it would be 16 and 4. Yeah? So now, in order to find the sides, because these are the squares of these sides, so we're square rooting both of them. So you get 4, and square root of 4 is 2. Okay? So can you tell all you've got to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, and that will be the line B, because you can see 4 squared plus 2 squared is 20. Okay. And then you just put that there. Okay, is that easy? If not, just keep going through this question until it feels comfortable, because it gets given to you in a higher question, in a higher level paper, and it brings in surds rather than it just being a typical Pythagoras question. So you've really got to be able to identify it. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, here I just want to change that to surd 80. Okay, so you can tell it looks very much like our the question we've just done. Okay, so here you can tell it's just phrased differently. Okay, it says the gradient of the line is 2. So again, let's create our triangle. So if the gradient is 2, and you know your m is your change in y divided by your change in x, so if we made that x, that would be 2x. Okay, yeah, and there's your right angle triangle, and you can tell that's surd 80. Now there are 2 ways of doing it. If it works out really well, we can do it the method we used for the previous question. So again, you've got x squared plus 2x squared. Yeah. But we've got to square them, equals surd 80 squared. Okay, so you know we're looking for 2 square numbers that add up to 80. Now just thinking about it, take some time to just think about it, because this is the easiest method. But if you find that you're stumbling, then I'm going to show you another method. But here I can see that if x, I can see 16 plus 64 would come to 80. And can you see that makes it 4 squared? So that means x is 4. And then if I double the 4, I get 8, and I've got 8 squared. Yeah? So you can tell that x could be 4 and 2x would be 8. And that works, yeah, because 16 plus 64 comes to 80. But if you can't think of 2 square numbers, then let's just write it out again. So we've got x squared plus 2x squared. We're going to square root it just like we normally do, and we get surd 80. Okay, now be really careful when you're squaring numbers. You've got x squared there, but here you've got to even square the 2. So 2x squared actually comes to 4x squared, which is equal to surd 80, and if you add those up, you get 5x squared equals surd 80. Okay, we can square root both sides, so 5x squared equals 80. Divide by 5, because we're trying to get to the x. So x squared equals 80 divided by 5 is 16. And now if we square root, we can see x equals 4. Okay, so we got that same answer, but that one was much easier if there were two square numbers that added up to 80. Yeah, all right. So if they ask you to find the coordinates of P, you can tell your x coordinate is 4, and your y coordinate is the 2x, which is 8. Okay, so that's your answer. All right, good. Let's try another one. You can tell there's such a variety of questions, and you've just got to be able to sort of say, oh, Pythagoras. Okay, here the lines show all the paths in the park. The circular path is the center of the rectangle, and has a diameter of 10. Okay, so that bit there is 10 centimeters. Calculate the shortest distance from A to C across the park using only the paths given. Okay, so the path I can see that's shorter than 60 plus 40 would be that bit there, and then we'll go all around it, and then we'll go there. Okay? Now again, by touching that diagram, I can see a right angle triangle. Okay, so what I can do is find the hypotenuse. Yeah, and once I find the hypotenuse, I'm going to minus 10. Yeah, so that will give me those two sides. And then what I'm going to find is that bit there is half the circumference of the circle. Yeah, so half of circum. Okay, so that's my plan. And again, can you see by planning it, it just puts me one step ahead of everything. Okay, so my hypotenuse is the square root of 60 squared plus 40 squared. And then I'm going to minus 10. And once I put that on my calculator, I get 62.11. And if you want to calculate it separately, then that comes to 72.11. And then when you minus your 10, you get 62.11. Okay, and then if you've got half the circumference, and always put the half first, and then your formula, so you've got pi times diameter, so you've got half times pi times your diameter is 10, so that gives you 15.71. Okay, and here you can tell we have to add them up. So if you've gone 62.11 plus 15.71, you get 77.82 meters. Okay, and that's your answer. And you can tell that is definitely less than the 60 plus 40, which is 100 meters. Yeah, so it's the shortest distance. Yeah, and we had to go across the park anyway. All right, okay, but it's just a good check to see it is less than the 100. So you know your calculations are all right. Okay, Let's look at one more question. The square is drawn on a 1 centimeter square grid. Work out the area of the square. Again, what topic? Oh yeah, Pythagoras. We've got our right angle triangle there. So that's 1, and that's 1, 2, 3. So that length there, so your area will be that length there, yeah, times that length there. And if it's a thing, we'll just put x. Okay, yeah. So in order to find, it's the side opposite your right angle, so it's your hypotenuse. So x equals the square root of 3 squared plus 1 squared. And that's quite easy to work out, so it's 9 plus 1, so it'll be surd 10. Okay, so x is surd 10. So if that's surd 10 and that's surd 10, and we don't really have to calculate what surd 10 is, then the area of the square is just surd 10 times surd 10, and you know a surd multiplied by itself will just give you the number. Yeah? So the area of the square is 10 centimeters squared. Wasn't that easy? And yet the question itself looked so odd to start off with. Okay, that's all for now. I really hope you enjoyed these questions and your workings just flowed. Remember to plan your workings as you read the question and prepare the answer beforehand. Example, if you need to square the calculation or subtract something from your calculation, that way you're always in control and always one step ahead, rather than saying, okay, I've got the answer, and then what do I have to do? What's the question again? So it just leads to confusion. I'll upload a part 4 when I find some more challenging questions. In the meantime, please watch another topic video I've uploaded. Remember, keep working hard. You're in control, always. Take care. Until next time. Bye.